Hello. My name is Autumn. I'm from the United States and I'm currently in Colorado. I make crochet patterns, mainly sweater patterns. Everything is available on autumnolive.com. I even have free patterns available and I have finished pieces available for sale. I have shown my face in several other streams. Today I'm just trying something different. All my previous streams are available to go back and watch. I have been on about every day this week. I'm not here to show my face today. Hi. This is simply a half double crochet. Right now I'm working into the chain stitch, and I'm almost done with this row, so I'll show you how to do this half double crochet row 2. Hi. Yes, I'm not looking for a relationship on here. I am just here to crochet. I am in a relationship. Okay, so here is, I have shown my face every day this week. Today I just want to show from this angle. Okay, so this is the second row. You're gonna chain 1 to turn and then work into the second chain from the hook. You just yarn over and then insert the hook, yarn over and pull through once, and then you have 3 loops and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And that is a half double crochet in US standard terms. So yeah, these comments are weird. I get weird comments every day. I guess it's because the live just goes and gets advertised to just random people, but that's fine. Usually I just ignore it. I'm not sure why so many people want to see my face today when they could just go to my page and see it if they want. I'm making a Valentine's dress. Here's the design. It's white with, it's going to have pink fabric for the skirt. And here are some other dresses that I am working on. Thank you. So that's the half double crochet. You can't see me. I'm just using acrylic yarn worsted weight. I got this from the thrift store and it's not labeled, so I'm not exactly sure what brand it is, but I know it's acrylic. It's probably like a pound, like one of those pound of yarn. So I think it's probably Karen 1 pound or maybe Red Heart. Hi. And somebody was asking how old I am. I'm 25, and then I'm gonna be 26 in February. The reason why I wanted to try this angle is because there are so many people who come in here being weird when I show my regular angle. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I'm doing live streams is because I want to get my watch time up so that I can afford to make more, tutorials and stuff on here because this is my job, so I don't make anything off of YouTube right now. And so I would like to be able to spend more time doing free stuff. Um, so, I'm doing this to try to build up my watch time. So usually I don't care unless they're spamming the chat and then I can't read comments from people who are being serious. Um, so, if they're just gonna sit here and spend time on here, then that's fine with me. Um, so yeah, the live streams count towards the watch hours. I only have like 500, so good for you with 2,000. But yeah, I found out that they count, which is great. So I've been trying to come on here every day. And I am working on another dress. This time I drew it out. Thank you. My birthday is in February. I'm not sure if I will. Um, Depends on, I don't know, just depends. It's a month away, so I'm not sure what my schedule will look like then. I'm not sure if I want to deal with weirdos on my birthday. Thank you. That's okay. Um, Feel free to go back and watch some of the old ones or any of my tutorials that I have. Thank you. Yeah, it's super hard to get the watch hours. I've been uploading tutorials for a few years now, but they're pretty short, and so I don't think people spend too much time watching them. And so it's consistently been at like 500 in the last year for like 3 years. So I figured something needed to change, either like making vlogs or something or doing lives. I've made a ton of stuffed animals. I actually have been crocheting for 15 years, and I've only been making clothes for the past 4 or 5 years. So before that, I pretty much only made stuffed animals, and I designed my own. I have two stuffed animal designs. They're both free patterns, so if you're interested. Um, yeah, so sometimes I make stuffed animals, but typically I just make clothes these days because I spent so long making stuffed animals. And honestly, it's kind of hard on my hands. I didn't notice until I started making clothes, but every time I go back and make amigurumi, it's like I have to use such a small hook and like really make small stitches. And so it's a lot easier to use relaxed tension and just make clothes. Yeah, I've had my crochet business for almost 5 years. Um, my Instagram is kind of the main event. I got into TikTok a little bit after that, and then I started doing YouTube tutorials because I have free patterns available on my website on autumnolive.com. And so I wanted to make some video tutorials for those things, and in my paid patterns, there are links to tutorials for the different steps. So yeah, I've been on YouTube for a while, but it has not been my top priority. I don't do vlogs or anything like that, so it was never monetized. I mainly focus on selling patterns and selling finished pieces, but I would like to try to get my YouTube monetized this year, so that I can focus on. Thank you. I am at Autumn Olive Crochet on both TikTok and Instagram. Aw, Ziggy the crocodile is turning 30. That's wonderful. On my wall, I have the mushroom tapestry back up. Um, I put the bird one up yesterday because I was just wearing my goose cardigan. And yeah, I'm not sure what you're asking. I have a free tutorial and a free pattern for a teddy bear. And the other stuffed animal pattern I have, it's not really an animal, it's more like a monster, but it's called the Odds and Ends Leftover Friends. And that is a pattern for, hi, the Odds and Ends Leftover Friends is a pattern for a stuffed monster, and you can use scraps with it, and it's actually no sew, so it's all made without having to sew the pieces together. And it works up really quickly because it uses half double crochet, which is what I'm working with right now. So yeah, that's a really fun one to make. I've made 4 different monsters with it using scraps that I have. You can just use, you know, leftover balls of yarn or short pieces of yarn that you have. I am crocheting. I'm crocheting a dress. This is going to be the dress top, and it's going to have 3 little lipstick kisses. And the skirt is made of fabric. This is my baby doll dress pattern. I have a free tutorial and a free written pattern for this. Here are some dresses that I have ready to go. This one is the top, and the skirt will be half bears and half purple. And then the other one is this speckled yarn, and the fabric is pink with flowers and bees. So this is kind of like a Valentine's collection. So right now I'm working on another one of these dresses. I'm working on the top of the dress. So this is the top of the dress, and I am going to start with the color changing to make the lips here soon. Oh, okay. That animal is a seal, S-E-A-L. And yeah, I definitely want to make another pattern like with my cardigan pattern that has the different plants and mushrooms and stuff in the pockets. one of the next ones I'm doing is going to be sea creatures, and so it will have seals and walruses and other sea mammals in the pockets. Yes, I'm going to sell 3 of these dresses. I have several dresses up available currently on autumnolive.com. I have some sweaters, I have some jean jackets, and so I'm going to make 3 of these Valentine's dresses to sell, and one of them is going to be mine to keep. But I have a few dresses left over from fall and from Christmas as well. I do have an Etsy shop, but the fees are really high. So it's always better if people shop on my website, but my Etsy is the same, Autumn Olive Crochet. I have patterns available on Etsy and finished pieces available on Etsy as well. Yeah, I've been crocheting since I was 10 years old, and now I'm 25, so it has been quite a long time. And I would crochet, I would bring it to school, crochet during school. I think it really did kind of get a boom of popularity during the lockdown. A lot of people wanted to find some creative hobbies, so I think a lot of younger people started crocheting, knitting, painting, stuff like that. The other thing about my Etsy shop is that something that's not offered there is my add-ons. So like with my sweater patterns, there's a lot of variations where it's the same sweater or cardigan and then just different collections of graphics to go on there. So on my website, I offer add-ons. So like if you wanted to get the pocket full of posies cardigan pattern with the flowers, and then you also wanted the one with the mushrooms, you could get it for a lot cheaper on my website because you don't have to buy the whole pattern all over again. You can just buy the graphics. So that's another incentive for people to shop from my website rather than my Etsy, because Etsy has super high fees. And so I would always prefer people to shop from my website. Of course, Etsy's fine if that's what you prefer, if you want to have all your patterns in one place and stuff, which I totally understand, but yeah, for the sake of just quickly explaining where I offer things, it's all available on autumnolive.com, and that's also the only place where I have free patterns. So if people are interested in my free patterns, that's all available on my website too. Yeah, it's really rewarding once you get the hang of it. In 2023, I released a pattern almost every single month, which was really crazy. And then in 2024, I was busy moving and learning how to sew and stuff, so um, I just didn't have the time to design that much. But my list of patterns that I want to do is so long. I want to try to do a pattern release every month this year and try to challenge myself again. Ooh, pasta carbonara sounds great. Thank you. I almost always am doing something while I crochet, either listening to music, podcast, watching TV, coming on here, talking to people. It's almost to the point where I have less patience if I'm not doing something with my hands. So, okay, thanks for tuning in. See you next time. One hour is a pretty good amount of time. I've gotten this far in 30 minutes, so there's a lot of projects you could do in an hour. Maybe not clothes, but like a bookmark or tiny little stuffed animal. Or like granny squares are nice because you can just make, a few squares in an hour and then come back to it another day. And then eventually you have so many squares you can connect them and make a jacket or something. Yeah, scarf is great for beginners. There's lots of different styles of scarves you can make. Even this project is good for beginners. I only learned how to sew last year in the summer, and so these dresses, it's really only straight across, kind of like how a scarf is. I don't know what kind of mask that is. Yeah, it's good to start with something easy. That way you don't get discouraged. And you'll have the satisfaction of finishing something pretty quickly. Socks, I would not say are very easy. They're small, but because of the shape of them, you'll have to do a lot of different steps. A scarf is just back and forth the same number of stitches across. So a sock, you'd have to do a lot of different complicated techniques to get it to be shaped like a foot, because it's got the curve and it's like, yeah, maybe later I'll Google it. I don't know. I just didn't respond because I don't know what it is. I'm from Colorado. Um, well, this is crocheting, which is different than knitting. Knitting uses 2 needles. Crocheting uses a hook, 1 hook. So there is a difference. I'm not sure. I mean, learned how to crochet when I was younger. Some people learn how to knit when they're younger. So I don't know if one is easier than the other. I mean, I recently learned how to knit and it was difficult because everything is difficult when you're a beginner. So this is crocheting, which is different. You can buy supplies anywhere, Amazon, Walmart, craft store like Joann's or Michael's. You have to decide what you want to make, which if you want to make a scarf, you should probably just research, I think probably worsted weight, otherwise known as medium weight yarn. It's probably the easiest to work with. Acrylic is probably the easiest to work with. And then on the yarn, it'll show you what size hook you should use, or if you're reading a pattern, which is another way to say instructions, the pattern will tell you what size yarn and what size hook you need. The only thing that's similar is that you're using string to make something with. Knitting, you have to hold on to 2 needles at one time and also hold on to the string and also hold on to the work. So I think that that's an extra step if you also have to hold on to a second stick. Crochet, you only have the 1 stick, the hook, and you're also holding on to the string and you're holding on to the work. So this is 3 things that I'm holding on to with crochet. And with knitting, there's a 4th thing because you have a second needle that you're using. So, I mean, you can make different things with them. I mean, both can be used to make sweaters. I think a lot of people prefer to use crochet to make stuffed animals, and a lot of knit clothing. It can be a lot thinner because crochet, it's kind of like 2 layers of fabric almost, because the yarn is constantly like it's 2 layers and knitting is more like 1 layer. So a lot of people I think would prefer to knit stuff like lighter weight summer things, but crochet is definitely probably easier for if you haven't worked with either. And yeah, if you're just going to start with a scarf or something, I would probably recommend medium weight yarn, cotton or acrylic, and probably a size 5mm hook. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of people who learned how to knit when they were younger and then found crochet challenging whenever they tried it. But I think it just depends whatever you learned first. Um, but I don't have much experience with knitting to be able to say because I've been crocheting for 15 years and only learned how to knit a few years ago and haven't really made much with knitting. But I think knitting is also more complicated because with knitting, you have to work the whole row all at once. So if you make a mistake in the row, you have to undo the whole entire row. Whereas crochet, you're just working one stitch at a time. So if your stitch, falls off the hook, you just have to go back to the beginning of the one stitch rather than undoing the whole row or whatever with knitting. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm not sure. I think it just depends how much practice you have because when I tried to do knitting, it went by so slow because I don't have any experience. So for me, I can crochet a lot faster than I can knit. But if somebody knows how to knit and doesn't know how to crochet, it'd probably be the opposite. There's also knitting machines, and there's not crochet machines, so um, that's another thing. If you use a machine to knit, then it would be a lot faster. It depends on the project. These dress tops take about 5 to 6 hours if it's plain, about 7 or 8 hours if I'm adding color changes, which I'm about to do. And then, like, because I'm sewing on the skirts with a machine, that takes about 2 hours to cut the fabric and sew it together. Um, when I crochet a whole sweater, that takes more like 20 or 25 hours. But like a teddy bear plushie, maybe 3 or 4 hours. A scarf would take me probably 2 or 3 hours. But as a beginner, it will probably take you longer just because you're not used to it. You won't be moving this fast at first. You may, you know, have to stop and figure out what you're doing, which is what I had to do when I started knitting. So I had to stop and figure out why there was a problem and stuff. I don't usually make a sweater. I usually spend a week making a sweater, and I usually don't even sit and work on something for this long. I'm only doing it now because I'm on live, so I've been doing this for 45 minutes straight. But typically I'll crochet for like 20 minutes, then, you know, check my phone or something, take a break, get some water. It's not that I do like 20 hours straight and crochet a whole sweater in a day. The fastest I've ever made a sweater was in 3 days, but that's not really good for your wrists. So now I pretty much split it up into like a week to crochet a sweater. I probably spend about 2 days making these dresses, like spend 2 days making one dress. When I was a kid, I learned that there was water in the air, and so I thought that I would be able to swim like a mermaid, and so I just jumped through the air and fell. Whoops, I've gone too far. I need to go back, and on this row I need to start changing colors for the lipstick. I started crocheting when I was 10. I said that I crocheted, I would bring it to school, high school and middle school, and work on it in class. But I started when I was 10 years old. I'm doing red, and then I'm going to do a coral color, and then I'm going to do like a burgundy maroon color. I actually had to learn from YouTube. I just mean that I would bring it to school and like work on it there for fun. Um, so I had to learn on my own because I found the supplies, the crochet supplies that belonged to my great grandmother. But she was already passed away, and so nobody remembered how to crochet, and they could not teach me. So I had to learn myself off of YouTube. Pasta sounds good. I made spaghetti the other night. I don't think I sold it back then. I think I did make people gifts. Like either a friendship gift, like matching plushies, or, you know, if it was their birthday or something, I would make them a plushie. But I don't think I remember selling it back then. Okay, so there is the beginning of that. These are the 3 colors that I'm using for the lipstick design. And I have to change them all during the same rows because they're going to be lined up next to each other. Oh, that sounds so cute. Babies and toddlers are so sweet. Yeah, sometimes it can be hard to sell stuff. After I made plushies, I started out, I started my Etsy, and I actually started making Tamagotchi cases. Because at the time, the latest type of Tamagotchi were like the color versions. And, you know, they're pretty expensive, so people wanted like some kind of case for them. And so that was actually what started me making money. So you have to figure out what people will buy and what people need and want. Or you could do like markets. It definitely took me a long time building up my business before I started making any income. And this yarn is thin, so I'm using 2 pieces at once so that it's the same thickness as this one. It really depends on the month. Like in the summer, people don't really want to buy anything that's crocheted. In the spring and the summer. And then in the winter, a lot of people want to make their own stuff, so they want to use crochet patterns. And then I sell a lot more stuff like around holidays. So I think maybe I sell like about 3 things in a month, unless I go to a market and set up a booth. Do you know any sign language to communicate with her? I learned sign language when I was in high school, and I had a deaf friend as well. Well, my main focus is crochet patterns, so I really don't have time to make like a ton more stuff to sell. So I pretty much just make what I want to make, and then if it sells, you know, it may take a while to sell, but I don't want to have a lot of custom orders or anything like that. I don't like to do custom orders. So I'm okay with what I've got going on right now. Um, I have a lot more followers on Instagram than I have on here. And TikTok may be going away soon, so I don't even know. Yeah, sign language is really fun. It's a great skill to know. I'm pretty fluent in American Sign Language. I was actually planning to be an American Sign Language interpreter, but then I ended up doing this instead. So yeah, I had learned a lot of sign language online and stuff. And then through my deaf friend that I met. And then after high school, I took some college classes for ASL. But then that's when COVID hit. And so then it was all going to be online, which I didn't want to do because it's really hard to improve your skills with sign language just online because it's such a three-dimensional language. And I had already learned so much online for free, so I didn't want to pay for college to do it online. That's really mean. I wouldn't listen to anything that he has to say. He sounds like he just wants to make other people feel bad. Hello, thank you. Hi, I'm Autumn. I'm from the United States. Here is the 3 lipsticks so far. Thank you. I made a whole sweater with this design one time. It starts to get really tangled up when you're working with this many colors. But luckily they're almost done. Yeah, what goes around comes around. People are usually mean to make themselves feel better. So I would just let it be and ignore any mean stuff people have to say about you or your friend. Good afternoon. For drinking water? There are 4 time zones in United States, and where I am, it's 12:37 p.m. So just afternoon. Yeah, Canada is just above the United States, and I think there's also 4 time zones in Canada, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure what you mean. I live in the USA and I've never left. So I've spent 25 years here. I think I have heard that. It's very interesting. I think it was like how you spelled it the first time, but with two S's. Actually, I don't know. I think you had it right. I think with two S's it would be dessert. But I am not good at spelling. Wow, you've been a lot of different places. I have never been out of the United States, but it would be cool to travel. I cut some of this yarn because it was getting tangled. But after this row, there's only going to be one more row of color work. Here's the back of the work. That's really cool. I would love to go to Tokyo and also France. I hope you have a nice time and safe travels. Hello. Okay, so this is the last stitch of the color work. And there are 3 kisses on this top. Wow, 5 rows of your blanket. That'll be done really quickly. Yeah, color changing can be a bit difficult. It definitely takes longer than just working something plain. Yeah, you can subscribe to my channel, like my live, like my other videos. I've been trying to come on here live every day and crochet for a while. This lipstick pattern is from my love letter sweater pattern. It's got 10 different Valentines love themed graphics. So I just took the lipsticks and put them on here to make like a Valentine's themed, different lipstick swatches, colors type of design. And then the skirt is going to be pink fabric, and this one will be available for sale. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to get off of here for today, and I will hopefully be back tomorrow.